Okay, boys, let's show you how to create a day of eating in MyFitnessPal. Now you're going to see this little bugger here. This I will use to point out things on the screen. If I want to draw your attention to anywhere, we're going to be using MyFitnessPal. Okay, so we click in. You'll actually be, over here's your selections. I'm going to click home here. This will be the screen that you'll land on. Okay, what we are going to use mainly is the diary right here. So we click that. We've got a blank slate here. We're going to figure out what we're going to fucking eat. Right, so the assumption here is your coach has given you your target macros, and you've got to now design a day of eating to hit those target macros. Okay, we're going to run off the assumption here that our targets are 200 grams of protein, 65 grams of fat, and 200 grams of carbs. Okay, your macros obviously are going to not be that; they're going to change every week. But let's run off this as an example. So the easiest way to do this, and we do want to learn the easiest way of doing this, because ultimately you want to be in a position where once your coach gives you your new macros for the week, it's like a 3-4 minute process on MyFitnessPal to figure out what you're going to eat to hit those macros. Okay. So we've already got our targets. Now we've got to figure out what we're going to eat. First things first. I want you to think about how many meals you're going to have in the day. Let's say it's going to be 3. Okay, fine. So we've got to plan out 3 meals. I want you to first think about what meat or protein source you're going to have in all of those meals, one by one. Okay, because all those meals will have a protein source in them. Let's start at the top with meal 1, breakfast. Right, so we click add food over here. And search for a food. Let's search for egg. Now, I've already got one entry for egg here because I've already entered egg into MyFitnessPal. If you haven't entered, if you hit search on egg, it'll bring up all these entries. You can generally go for the best match there, but a lot of the times it won't be 100% the correct one. Look, what's best here when you're using MyFitnessPal is to enter your own entries yourself. Okay, so if you're entering something that comes in a package, use the nutrition panel on the package to enter in all the data for yourself into the app. If you're using meat, eggs, fruit, veg, get the numbers for that off Nut tab. It's in the welcome pack, what Nut tab is and how to use it. Okay, there'll be a video on that as well. In any case, I've already entered egg, so we don't really need to search for it. If we just go egg here, it'll bring up my egg. So I click that. 1 egg, serving size 3, right? We might end up having 3 eggs, but for now, let's make it 1. All right, just for the sake of what we're doing here. 1 egg, 1 serving. Click this little plus sign, and it's added to our breakfast. Okay. Now we've got to add lunch. What are we going to add for lunch? Let's go, I feel like some chicken breast. Okay, we're going to click that one. Serving size is set to 100 grams. Let's change that to 1 gram. Select 1 gram, click the little tick there. Now, why did I set it to 1 gram? Because what we want to do is make it nice and easy for us to change the amount of chicken breast that we eat. Because now, if a serving size is set to 1 gram, I can then make the number of servings however many grams I want to eat. So let's say I click on that one and I make it 225 grams of chicken breast. See how easy that was? Now, this section here is now giving me the calories and the macros in 225 grams of chicken breast. So that'll give me 50 grams of protein, 3.6 grams of fat, and 0 grams of carbs. Meats will never have carbs in them. Okay, it'll always be protein and fat. Now, chicken breast is a very lean source of protein, which is why it gives us lots of protein, very low fat. If we use something like a Scotch fillet steak as an example, much fattier cut of meat. So you'll have similar amount of protein in 250 grams of Scotch fillet. It'll still give you about 50 grams of protein, but it'll come in with way more fat. I think 225 grams Scotch will give you like 35, 40 grams of fat, something crazy like that. All right, let's hit the little plus sign to add the chicken breast to our meal, lunch. Last meal, dinner. Click add food. What do we feel like? Yeah, let's have some eye fillet. We've entered eye fillet already. Change this to 1 gram. And we'll give ourselves eye fillets. Let's say we get about a 200 gram eye fillet. All right, 44 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat. See, eye fillet, which is still the leanest cut of steak, still comes in with a bit of fat. Okay. Hit the little plus sign here. Okay, that's it. We've added all our meats. Now, we need to make sure that we're getting enough protein from these meats. All right. So how do we check how much protein we're getting already? Very easy. Up here, click anywhere in this section, and it'll bring you to this screen. If you have this circular graph here, I need you to come up here and click nutrients. You want to be on a screen that gives a readout like this. Okay. If you're ever on the, you see how it says calories here? If you're ever on the graph screen on the pie chart, it's because you're on calories there. Okay. So click, whoops, click nutrients. All right. Now we can see protein so far. We've got underneath this total column here, we've got 101 grams of protein. You see that? What was our target? 200 grams. All right, so we're gonna have to bring that a little bit up. Carbohydrates has been largely unaffected, 1 gram. That's probably coming in from the egg. Fat, we got 19 grams in. Okay, and our target for the fat was 65, I believe. So we still got a little bit left to go on the fats. Right? We're not too close there either. It's this protein we want to bring up closer to the target. So we exit out of here by pressing that X. And let's give ourselves some more protein. What can we stomach? Well, this eye fillet, we could definitely eat more than 200 grams of eye fillet because we're fucking men. We love steak. Let's eat 400 grams of eye fillet. That's actually a fair bit, guys. Let's make it realistic. Let's make it 300 grams. Okay. And then we click the little tick there. Chicken breast, 225 grams. Look, chicken breast is a bit dry, man. I can't handle more than 225, so let's leave it there. Eggs, fucking earth, we can eat more than 1 egg. Let's give ourselves 3. All right, so we made that 3, and then we click the little tick sign there. Well, let's see what we have added up to now. Clicking in here again. Protein, brought it up a little bit to 135. Fat, climbed up a little bit to 34. Fuck, we still got a fair bit to go on this protein, don't we? So what can we use? Let's hit that little X button. What can we use? Whey protein, of course, right? So I'm gonna add this to lunch. Let's search whey protein. Isolate. Okay. Now everything's going to be for scoops, right? We don't care about. We don't want to do scoops because that's too. You can't. It's too like. It's up to chance how much is in your scoop, right? It's not a good way to measure. We're going to use grams. So here's one with grams. 28 grams. Let's change that to serving size 1 gram. That way we can enter in number of servings how many grams we want. Let's say we use 30 grams of whey protein. That'll give us 26 grams of protein, a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbs, okay? Again, whatever protein you're using, enter in your own numbers for yours, okay? Because yours might actually even have less carbs than this one, than the now protein. In any case, you can see here, when we're trying to drive our protein up, the easiest thing we can use is whey protein. Because if I hit the little tick up the top there, check how many grams of protein I'm on, 162. Now, what was our target? 200, right? So if I want to get myself right up to that 200, what do? I go to whey protein. I'll make it 60 grams of protein. What does that bring us to? 188. See that? Pretty close. I'm going to leave it for now because as we enter other foods, they're going to creep up on the protein a little bit. Like even stuff like rice will have a little bit of protein. So as we add all that stuff, protein will creep up. We're close enough to our goal now of 200 that I'm pretty satisfied. And at the end, I can make sure that we hit our exact target. For now, let's leave it. 188. Fat, 35 out of 65. Still got a fair bit to go. Carbohydrates, wow, we got fucking heaps to go. The goal was 200. Yeah, we've only got 5. Remember, guys, with MyFitnessPal, it gives you, in this goal column here, it gives you a bunch of goals. These are goals that MyFitnessPal has chosen for you, not your coach. So ignore all these, all right? We don't care about the MyFitnessPal goals. We care about the goals that your coach has given you. Okay, protein is sorted. So let's get out of this screen, clicking that little X there. Now, what are we going to add? We need to bring our fats up. So let's add a bit of fat, okay? I know that with this chicken breast meal, there's no fat with chicken breast. I'm going to need a little bit of fat to make it palatable. So what do I like? I actually like a bit of butter. So let's go add food. And let's actually search for olive oil. That might be easier because olive oil is a bit more palatable to all of you. Most of you will be using it. What's wrong with all these? They're all on fucking tablespoon. We don't want tablespoon, do we? Right? They're all on tablespoon, except for this one, grams. Click on that. Change the grams to 1 gram. As you can see, 1 gram of olive oil gives you exactly 1 gram of fat. Why? Because olive oil is basically all fat. Now, let's add 15 grams of olive oil. Some of that to cook with and some of that to put maybe over the meal, okay? Hit the little tick there. Let's see where we are on calories. Fat, 50 grams, getting pretty close, man. What was the target? 65, we're getting very close. Let's leave it for now. Hit the little X there. Pretty close on our protein, pretty close on our fat. And so far, so easy, man. I mean, this is taking me like a little bit longer than it normally will, obviously, because I'm talking this out. Think about this, guys. When you do this yourself, to log all this stuff, it'll take about 45 seconds to get to where we are once you're good at this, okay? We've logged all our meats to hit close to our protein. We've given ourselves a little bit of a direct fat, a pure fat there to bring our fat number up. Now let's add our carbohydrates, okay? Again, looking at our targets, carbohydrates, we're on 5. We need way more. So what are we going to use? Well, with this chicken breast, add some food here. I feel like some rice. Right, basmati rice, uncooked. Whoops. Let's change it first to 1 gram servings. You saw what I did just over there. Now, look, man, 100 grams of white rice is going to turn into about 2 cups of white rice. Fair bit, okay? That's why it's giving us 79 grams of carbs. So let's add that in there. That'll be nice. Dinner. Let me just show you where I'm cooking. There too, right there. So what are we going to have with the beef? Well, I feel like a bit of sweet potato. Everyone loves sweet potato. There we go. Let's add that. 100 grams sweet potato. Let's change that to grams. Now, 100 grams gives us 20 grams of carbs. We need more than that. Let's eat 200 grams of sweet potato. That'll give us 40. Fuck, we can handle even more than that. Let's give ourselves 250. Make it a real fun dinner, all right? 250 grams of sweet potato will give us 50 grams of carbs. And as you can see, guys, your protein is up as well. You see that? That's why we left the protein. We didn't go all the way up to our target of 200 when we entered the meats, because this other stuff is going to creep up the protein as well. All right? So now we hit that little tick sign. All right, let's see where we are in the running tally. Protein, you can see we've gone over our target there by 1 gram. Fat creeped up a little bit. We've still got a bit left to go, though. 50 grams right now. We've got 65 as the target. Carbohydrates, we've got heaps, 134 left to go. Let's give ourselves, I'm going to click add food here. Let's give ourselves some orange juice with these eggs. 400 ml of orange juice, 43 grams of carbs. Again, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's look at our targets again. 178. Getting pretty close. All right, now, protein's right about where we want it. If you go over on your protein, by the way, guys, it's never a bad thing. Okay, so you can always feel free to go over your protein by some amount. Nice little comment on the Physique Factory. Fats, you really don't want to go over your amount. Carbohydrates, you don't want to go over your amount. If you're in a fat loss phase, even if you're in a lean gain phase, you really want to be pretty strict on your fat and carbs. We've given you those for a reason, all right? In a lean gain phase, you don't want to be putting on fat. We want to be putting on muscle. And in a dieting phase, of course, for obvious reasons, we don't want to go over our fats and our carbs. Okay, so we need to get a little bit more on the carbs, a little bit more on the fats. Let's exit out of here. Let's just do this nice and easy. You could do this whatever way you want. You could add some Cocoa Pops if you like to add your carbohydrates, whatever you want to do. But I want to show you how easy it can be. All right? We need to go from 178 carbs up to 200, right? So that's a difference of about 20 grams. So what I'm going to do is increase orange juice here. We're at 43, which means if I get close to 63, we'll be laughing. 570. See why I like orange juice? Because we're weighing it in mils, we can be so specific, 575 mils with something like orange juice. You know, whereas with something like meat, it can be hard to go to the butcher and say, hey man, I need exactly 575 grams of fucking eye fillet. He's going to look at you like you're a freak, you know. So find foods which you can easily manipulate up or down to the gram, and it'll make your life a lot easier. Whey protein does that for protein, and things like juice will do that for carbs. All right, let's tick yes on that. See where we're at. 197 carbs, 205 protein, pretty close on our carbs. Fats need to come up. Let's hit the X there. And what's the easiest thing to increase? Olive oil. Well, let's go back and see how much we need to increase by. So fats at 52, IG for 65. So what is that, about 12 grams? We're at 15 here. That gives us 12, 25, 30, 27, something like that. Let's go 27 grams of olive oil with that plus sign. Now, listen, guys, 27 grams of olive oil is a fair bit. So maybe we use some of that to cook some of this meat here, or sprinkle over the raw sweet potato. Just because you enter it into lunch here doesn't mean you have to use it at lunchtime. All right? We know that we can use 27 grams of olive oil now for the day. All right. Let's check our numbers again, see where we are. Hey, 64, very good. Carbohydrates, 197, protein, 205. Listen, man, these macros are good. Okay, if our goal was 200 protein, 200 carbs, and 65 fat, we'd be very happy with this setup here. All right, we fit our macros. We're within 3 grams on the carbs and within a gram on the fat. And because we're under, look, I don't want to say under is always good, because you could be in a lean gain phase, in which case you don't want to be eating under on your carbs. Listen, over or under by a couple of grams is good. Okay, it's fine. Okay, we'll hit this little X. And there we go, guys. There's a day of eating. It's literally as simple as that. Okay, so add in your meats first, then add in your fats, and then add in your carbs. Okay, working up to pretty close to your targets. Fill out the day with what you want to eat. Adjust the numbers up or down so you get pretty close to your targets. And then just adjust the easy foods to fill those gaps that remain. Remember, easy foods would be whey protein to bring your protein up to what you need, olive oil or butter to bring your fat up to what you need, and juice or rice to bring your carbs up to what you need. That's it, guys. That's a day of eating. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, obviously ask your coach. We are here to help. All right, boys.